Now, I really feel like they have been playing it quite a lot of time. This probably like their 1.5 hour has already passed down. This might be, there comes a stopping point as well. So let's see if that pressure comes to Blazing Olympus or not. As of now, back into the bans, kind of a standard bans, just targeting those assassins and those nasty fighters who you don't want to deal with.
Well, definitely. And this time, Diaz really need to show some good comeback because if you did see in the last draft, PC, like I mentioned, they had two diamonds. The Phobia is going way too far ahead. The Sicilian didn't have any protection, and of course, uh, like so much early um, domination coming from Blazing Olympus that the entire draft was pretty weak for the side of Team Dakusena. So they really need to make sure that this time they need to, see that if Blazing is going in for some early game, that they are able to pick up heroes which can do the front lining. There is something tanky which can protect the damage dealers and let them farm and counter out an early game draft. Or if it is a late game draft coming from the side of Blazing Olympus, they need to make sure that the draft is pretty balanced.
I do agree with you right there, Aswaya. A balanced draft is much more needed. Last time it was Blazing Olympus who did that. They got the heals, they got the stuns, they got the chain CC, they got the damage as well, AoE damage. What is that they were not having? They had everything, so they really went in for very very good gameplay. Let's see if they're able to get it on with the same kind of a gameplay. But as of now, Blazing Olympus did make a respect ban. Not that they fear the Sicilian, but they don't want to give it out. They might want to stretch this game to the late game.
Well, let's see what they go for. This time, Blazing Olympus do have the first pick. But then again, Peachy, uh, like Blazing Olympus, the name of the team was new for me, but the players are really, really old. I've seen them rom-com being one of the best EXP laners right there, especially with the CC. So, yeah, they are pretty good players. And this time, once again, Blazing Olympus. Just look at them, Badang. This guy we picked up once again. Oh my god, he is a nightmare. So right now DS needs to make sure that the mage or the marksman which they pick do have something utility in their kit which can be safe from this Badang, or else they won't be able to position themselves in those team fights, or maybe pick up some tank or an EXP laner who can cut down, who can just zone away this Badang from the squishies from the backline.
I do. Let's see if they do get those kind of a gameplay in. But as of now, Paksha and those Florine. What is this? Are they reading our minds? Like, come on, man. Florine, one of my favorite heroes, getting picked up. For first game it was the Sicilian for Asaya. And then there's Fredrin for Jinx. This game there's Florine. Damn, I'm definitely honored. Today I want to see how safe the Florine plays, and Haitatsu is actually known to play those support meta, so I believe for them it would be going in quite strong. But in the same way, Blazing Olympus should be getting ready for a Bakshia jungle. Bakshia, they cannot go in for some heals right now. If they go, it's an instant counter.
Ooh,
Oh, okay, very
okay.
nice. That's interesting.
Well, really, that's kind of new. That's Hanzo, right? The 2D model of Hanzo was the first time looking at his face. He's Hanzo, right?
I know. I
So,
know.
yeah, and Granger, since he got that nerf, I think he's great if your team is able to give the farm which the gold needs, if you're able to farm the gold lane. But then again, he can be diffused pretty easily since Baksha will be pretty tanky, and of course, the heals coming in from Florin, he will be kind of a wall, just like Hylas. He. So I think Granger might face some issues right there, and especially considering just look at them. Irithel, one of the best counters against the Granger being picked up right there by Dakusena. So, but at the same time, Pichi, if our Hanzo is able to lock down onto the Irithel, especially even on the Florence, so that she's not able to get those equipments, those flask of voices within 3 to 6 minutes of the game, the Blazing Olympus might have the upper hand, but it highly depends if they're able to shut down or maybe reduce that gold for our Florence.
Yep, that's right about it. But let's see if that kind of a gameplay could come in or not. Because one thing about Baksha is he's going to be the front lane. But okay, let's dive into the bans quickly because it's going in too fast. Kalia being banned off, the Xavier being picked off as well. Xavier being a kind of an unconventional. Maybe they just don't want to face Funny Valentine Xavier, so could be a very good pick though. Like when there's a Hanzo, if you play that Xavier and you do get your Dawning Light correctly, just targeted on the Hanzo, you may be able to get it. But late game, it is like 100% definitely. But that I think that ban is definitely for this Hanzo. Another mage being targeted on. That's a lot of mages. One, two, three, four. Okay, 4, 5. That, oh my god, that's like a whole team banning out only mages, looking so good. I love how they're just like banning out each other's hero, not like just a random and not something like from meta, but this is something they are known to play. But oh my god, the Daku Sena, that's the nasty pick. That's definitely too tanky. That's definitely too much to take. As a glue, the revamp glue especially, and it has become so easier.
Well, yes, definitely. And considering they already banned out the Vexana, maybe uh, a Faramis could be a viable option here. Also, because since there will be the Baksha always in the front line and the glue, so I think a Faramis could have provided a lot of opportunity, a lot of I think a good draft for placing. But right now, considering that they did pick up on the Hanzo as well as the Granger, I really do not know that if this draft will work out for them. Like, just look at the amount of tankiness DS have. They have the anti heal, and I think in such a situation, maybe going in for a pick off roam could happen better because you really want to lock down onto that Florence. She will definitely be a bone of contention. A Joe could have been a great option right here. So, okay, the last two picks, the From is being picked up, just like I said. And what do you think about the Gatot pick here, though, VC?
Gatot Kacha. Okay, they just wanted something tankier. They need something that could dive into the backlines, that could actually, push away the fluorine out of the team fight. Because once you do, the skills would be not, the heals would be not coming in as expected, other than the with the alt as well. It would be around like, the mid game to the late game where she picks up those fleeting time. Then only she will be having a easier time with the ultimates. But other than that, it is all dependent onto our skill number
Oh,
one. But here we are, Funny Valentine with one of the signature hero, Valentina. I really like all the picks though. Talking about Dakusena, they are on their comfort picks. They are on their signature picks. But Blazing Olympus, this is truly new. And but Blazing Olympus, their team really looks scattered as of now for me.
definitely, VC. You just took the words away from my mouth. That they have a very scattered kind of team composition. Meanwhile, if you look at Diaz, they have tankiness, they have anti heal, they have heals, they have late game with the riddle and the glue, and they even have the early game from that Valentina. And also considering that she will have AOTG, she will have the ultimate coming from, especially from Peekaboo, from the Faramis. That's something you really wouldn't want because it will completely negate the possibility of winning those team fights because like when you have picked up the Faramis, you have thought of that the team fight would be maybe going in bad for you and then you have a second life for yourself. But then again, just buying so much time with that ultimate, but then just seeing a Valentina doing the same for the enemy, it's going to be really hard for the side of Team Blazing Olympus this time.
Oh, let's see if they're able to get it or not, because Baksha Jungle is something of a little bit of an annoying pick to deal with. So let's see if they are able to or not. Romcom with an early flicker. Jazz really did his part on being onto the EXP lane, and he just like made sure that he would be, just not letting Romcom go out of his lane.
PC, it is really hard to kill a glue, especially they need to rush those anti-heals considering there are so many heals for the side of Team Dakusena. Maybe picking up a Uranus against that glue could have worked out for them, but a Padang, I do not think so would be able to sustain quite a lot. And just like I said before, the side of Team Olympus do not have enough sustain, so they really need to be careful not to give a snowball to DS right there. I mean, just look at them already. Karamis being used up a flicker right from the early Varren, already level 4 going in for Cammy, but of course it won't be enough in the early. The tankiness is too much. Varren looking for some engages right there, will be just forced to. Okay, why did he do that? And the first blood will be taken away just like that. And meanwhile, just look at Yamraj taking down the Faramis, 2 kills for the side of Team DS. This is not a good situation for them, especially because even the EXP is losing out right now.
Okay, that is definitely an interesting coming in. Look at them. They just made sure that they would be getting all their early snowball onto their hands. Team Dakusena, with the Sparkship pick, Blazing Olympus is forced to play slow. They have to, wait for the items to come in, especially for this Faramis, especially for this Ranger as well. So let's see if they get it or not. But at the same time, if they let loose to the late game, will they be able to sustain? Will they be able to take so much damage that as of now that they are giving, because the heals are going to be coming off at like a bigger range?
I think that draft for Olympus is really a disaster. I do not think so that they will be able to sustain the early, and even the late games looks really hard for them because the original can reposition herself. Valentina can reposition herself. The only one you want to pick off is the Florin, but then they did not pick. Just like I said, they should have gone in for some pick off tank right there. But did not have anything. If Gato tries to dive in, he will be melted down in mere seconds. Considering there is the glue who can just spam up that ultimate right there.
That is true. That is true. Look at them trying to go in, or going to try to get out of the situation. Raren, he has to go back with a ninja form. Faram is trying his best to pull, but we don't get it there quite yet. Mid lane pressure is quite high, but talking about the same, Hanzo is not able to do anything. Blazing Olympus, 3 minutes into the game, are not able to take the first blood onto their hands. That is truly, truly astonishing. While there's the Gatot Kacha onto the top lane, the support is quite well. I do believe Blazing Olympus are trying to take it slow. They just don't want to engage. They don't want to take any invitation from the side of Team DS, because if they lose any more farm, it is a red line that they would be crossing. You don't want that. You have to play it safe. Total coming up, maybe a turtle being contested, but Funny Valentine being targeted on.
Okay, just look at Kyashi going in for those kills. I mean, just look at him already level 7, and meanwhile, there is the rest of the team already just level 5 and 6 right there. DS having an easy time onto the turtle. Raran coming in once again, the poking, the zoning coming in from Jazz going in for those kills. The turtle being released at once again. Will it be a hard time for Raran as he will be taken down by Amrad right there? The nether realms coming, popping up once again, and all the way, the golden is right there. The heels coming in, the Florence. Just look at them, how dominating, how aggressive DS is at this point because they know they have the upper hand. And Blazing Olympus actually cannot do anything. Just look at the way the blue is getting contended.
Oh my, the buffs are getting stolen. Just not even 5 minutes onto the game. That is truly, truly not a game for the side of Team Blazing Olympus. But let's see if they're able to recover or not. But as of now, Romcom is not able to get out of his lane. He's not able to farm up as well. He's looking quite low. That means he cannot go in face to face with Jazz. But the heals. I do believe, both of the teams, they need the heals. Last game it was the Angela, this game it was the Florine. They're just helping them tremendously. But okay, Funny Valentine, trying to just farm up, trying to take as much as farm possible from their own jungle.
Well, definitely. But then, even in all those skirmishes, 3 kills for the side of Team DS right now. But the Granger hasn't died even once. He's stealthily farming, trying to farm up. So, if I really like to see the equipments that how both the teams are building, and I really believe that rushing those anti heals is the way to go. And yes, the Godot is going in for that. Then again, the rest of the team, especially the Faram, is also trying to build in that anti-heal for themselves. Meanwhile, just look at Baksha already with that blade armor. Like I have seen this Kashi even in the previous game, just okay, let's look at the AOTG dropping down onto him, but right there it will be one kill as Brendan will be taken down. Katot really, very low HP, besieged by three people, and will be next on the chopping block along with that turret. And with this is the snowball coming in. Just look at the nether realm being popped up so early right there, just forcing it away. Lauren with those heals helping around so much, and with that, our junglers, like just look at the Hanzo being denied everything, just looking for those split pushes right there. But I think the mid lane first tier will not sustain anymore. But then okay, they actually managed to defend it. But the AOTG coming in from the Valentina, and Raren will be taken down right there. Oh my god, Raren having the worst time of his life. Once again, the third turtle of the game also in the hands of DS, looking for once again another engaged PG.
Warren got punished. Like he wasn't able to get out of the situation. He had nowhere to go front. There was a glue backwards. The AUG was dropping in. This is why they picked up the Valentina, the Gatotkacha ult. Truly a good pick. And plus the Faramis as well. Faramis ultimate really serves it a purpose of giving a little bit of an extra lifeline so that they can play around the re-engage as well. Funny Valentine all farmed up. He doesn't need anything. And counter to that, Raw 0-3-0. He needs to farm up. He needs to get their kills up. But 7 minutes into the games, Blazing Olympus with 0 kills. This is definitely going game 3.
I mean, definitely they're having a really hard time. I mean, just look at Baksha prioritizing that blade armor. Okay, look at the stun coming in, and with that, Jazz just taking down onto that Faramis. The Netherrealm has been used up. He is in quite low HP. Jazz trying to being pulled back right there. AOTG dropping down. It's 1 versus 3, but meanwhile, behind the scenes, Roran will be punished as Irithel will be taking that kill once again. A 1-for-1 trade. The blue being besieged right there. Damage coming in from the Granger, the stuns coming in, the terrified Kuasor in a very tight situation. Just look at Romcom trying to dish some damage right there, trying to provide some CC with those stuns, but then the damage isn't enough.
Onto the side of Team Dakusena, it is just the Gashi, the Pakshia who serves as the front laner. So the bloom is actually helping them to sustain the team fight, even though there's no Lu in the team fight, even though there's no Bakshi in the team fight. Florian's ultimate serves as a extra protection. It's like a confirmation that yeah, you may be safe, but okay, fearing those AOG once again. He moves back. Raren this time he is truly waiting it out. Oh wait a minute, will he be caught out though? He's just looking for it. Easy lord for the side of Team Dakusena. They're just like, no, we are not giving anything out.
And how is Blazing Olympus even supposed to contend right there? But Jazz in a really low HP will be taken down finally as Brendan gets that one kill. The AOTG from Valentina dropping down right there. The Nether Realm popping up once again. And with that, I think it is Kashi being popped up once again, being stunned right there. The heals from Thorin are enough. The anti-heals are working. The magic right there. Funny Valentine taking that kill onto the bottom, but then one last shot right there, and Peekaboo will also be taken down. Robin looking for that one kill onto Yamraj, but the damage isn't enough. The dashes are too much. The Madara was just marching down from the top lane, but since it is the first lord, it might be an easy defend right there. Then again, Peachy, even though Blazing Olympus is losing out so much on those team fights, the goal lead, if you see, it's always maintained around that 4 to 5,000 gap.
Not good. Not good. The gap is not something for the side of Team Blazing Olympus. I want to. Will they be able to recover from that? They do have a good composition. As I mentioned, it is a kind of a scatter composition. Look at that. They're able to delete the ninja form from Raren,
Oh,
while Romcom has to serve as the front laner. Look at them. Kashi trying to go in. The anti heal is already set upon them. Just because of the Bakshia's ultimate. The Lord is in though. Madara is definitely in. They just like waiting it out. Inhibitors to be saved. There's a lot for the side of Team Blazing Olympus to take in. What will they do?
Well, I really do not know because I definitely believe the draft is very, kind of not good from the side of Team Blazing Olympus. Just look at the way the Netherrealm is just being forced on just to save himself. That's how Paramis is. Even though he's trying to prioritize playing it safe, but then again, the team is so scattered that he doesn't know when to use that ultimate, on whom to use that ultimate, just save himself because the flanks are being occupied by the glue, and that's why glue exp is really really irritating right there. But then even the Baksha is so tanky right now along with that Florin. I mean, even her ultimate is so good, removing all that anti heals from there. Like they cannot actually do anything if you ask me, PC.
That's true, what's crazy about it that, okay, AOG dropping in, coming back to my point that what's more crazy is the Hanzo is not able to reach up to Florine. The Florine is sitting so comfortably out of the back lanes. She's just like popping blooms on blooms. She's just, waiting for a teammate to get low. But on top of that, they're not getting low. They're just playing it safe. So they know when to engage. They know when to come out of this engage because re-engage can be a little bit costlier for them. But at the side of Team Blazing Olympus, it is not because of the Nether Realm. But when I said that the team composition is quite scattered, is just because of the Faramis pick. If they had a high loss pick or maybe try to push the high loss onto the mid lane, they could have actually gotten something out of it. But somewhere along the lines, the damage is lacking.
Well, definitely, Hylos could have been a good pick here, but I think the EXP Hylos could have worked out much more. But then once again, the Lord contention going in, and I think it's pretty easy for DS once again because the zoning provided by Jazz, by the glue, as well as the Baksha is way too enough. And at the same time, for the roam position, they should have gone in for some pickoffs right there. Like a Cho could have been a great option right there because just look at the way they are, this entire DS, they are always huddled together. There is no gaps, that no way they can find accessibility to the marksman, to the mage, or even the florin. They do not have the flanks, so a pick up could have been great option here. Like you could have just taken at least one person away from the team fight to melt him down, but then and now that's not the option. And the second Lord once again in the hands of DS. Okay, then stuns coming in right there from Romcom. Liamrajan is low HP, but of course Haitatsu's healed, just saving them up once again. Just look at the lane sinks though, PG.
Lane things looking quite good into the side of Team Dakusela. They are just targeting those inhibitors. They just want to make sure that Zumataras reaches safe towards their crystal while they're just saving it on. Oh, Faram's looking quite low though. The successful defense coming in, but they might lose Romcom in that process. Around already traded out. That's like sacrifice. No mercy shown. Netherrealm coming in quite early in while Quasar is also like 50% of its HP. Funny Valentine with the finishing touch comes in. The minions are in. The base is quite open, and Team Blazing Olympus takes away the second game.
What a game, and I definitely, if you ask me, it's 100% the draft. The draft wasn't well taken right there. I mean, Badang is a good pick, but DS countered that Badang just with that Florin as well as the Baksha pick. So, what do you think, Jinx?
Oh, what an amazing game by DS, right? Guys, watching the first game, I thought, okay, Blazing Olympics has it easy. I mean, DS, the draft wasn't good the first game, but they completely turned it over this time around, especially that glue pick. I have to give kudos to Jazz. I mean, not many people know this, but I think against Hanzo, glue is one of the counters, right? Because it just goes directly onto the body as soon as that shadow is killed.
True. Hanzo got zoned out quite hard. There were
Mm-hmm.
every single possible counters, and one thing about Rarin that he wasn't mindful of his body. Not once, not twice, more than once. So I feel like the Hanzo somewhere was a fourth pick.
Uh-huh, that's true. And one thing I've noticed about Raran, he prefers that Hanzo pick against any tanky hyper, right? As soon as the enemy picks up a tanky hyper, he picks up the Hanzo. While Hanzo is really good at melting down those tanky heroes mid-late game, but against this sort of draft, it was bad, right? I feel like that team composition, they did not have any synergy, right, Asuya?
Well, yes, definitely.